Today we are discussing about functions of sodium potassium pump. There are various functions performed by the sodium potassium pump. Let's take the first one, is a resting potential. Now, resting potential means actually sodium potassium pump makes the plasma membrane polarized. So it makes actually in a resting potential, sodium potassium pump makes plasma membrane polarized. Means outer side of the plasma membrane becomes positive, and inner side of plasma membrane it becomes negative. So if we have defined the resting potential, it is simply the negative charge or negative environment which is created within the cell. We can call that one as a resting potential, or we can simply say when the outer area of the plasma membrane, outer side of the plasma membrane is positively charged and the inner one is a negatively charged. We call it as a polarized, and polarized membrane is having a resting potential. Now we will show it in a diagram how it maintains the resting potential. Let's see, say for instance we have, this is the plasma membrane which I am making roughly. This is extracellular matrix and this is intracellular matrix, and we are making here a sodium potassium pump. So as to understand all the things, how the membrane becomes polarized, say for instance this is a sodium potassium pump. Say this is a sodium potassium pump. We have discussed all the things in our previous lecture, like it's having the sodium binding sites, then potassium binding sites, ATP binding sites, ATPase activity, and it's having a phosphate binding site. The sodium potassium pump, it helps in influx of two potassium ions coupled with efflux of three sodium ions. Which we had discussed in our previous lecture. That means the sodium potassium pump is helping in a influx of, this is the influx where it is taking in two potassium ions and coupled with the efflux of three sodium ions. What happened due to this? The outer area of the plasma membrane becomes more positively charged, because more sodium is there, so it becomes more positively charged. And inner side is also having the positive charge, but it's having more negative. The reason is only the two potassium ions are taken in, and it's also having some potassium leaky channels. The potassium is also leaked, oozed out. So we can say the negative charge is more onto the inner side. So if you have such type of a condition, we can call the membrane becomes polarized, and we can call this one as a resting potential. So resting potential is actually when the outer environment of the cell or outer environment of the plasma membrane is positively charged and inner side of the plasma membrane is negatively charged. We can call that membrane has become polarized, and we can call it as a resting potential. Say for instance, if we will take a neuron, because we are mostly seeing this action potential, especially in neurons and the muscles. So we will discuss here, if we will discuss it in a detail in action potential, we will take it in a long discussion. But neuron is having this resting potential. If you take a neuron is having resting potential about -70 millivolt is the resting potential of the neuron. And if you take a muscles, especially the skeletal muscles is having the resting potential, that is RP, resting potential about minus 90 millivolt. So you have to keep in mind. So the inner environment of this plasma membrane becomes negatively charged. So inner environment of the cell becomes negatively charged. Outer environment becomes positively charged. So if anybody asks you what is the resting potential, because most of the action potential, resting potential, hyperpolarization, depolarization, threshold potential, these all things we study in detail in action potential. But you have to keep in mind the neuron is having the resting potential of minus 70 millivolt, and the skeletal muscle is having the resting potential about minus 90 millivolt. So first function of sodium potassium pump, it helps or it maintains resting potential. The resting potential is actually the negative charge inside the cell or inside the plasma membrane. That negative charge in case of neuron is minus 70 millivolt, and in case of skeletal muscle is minus 90 millivolt. Next function which we have is also the important function, that it maintains cell volume and osmolality. This is very important thing. We discuss it in detail. Next function which we have is also the important function, that is cell volume. It maintains cell volume and osmolality. Osmolality. That means cell volume is maintained, osmolality. When we use for cell volume, it's simply the what we call the cell size or cell space within it, is the cell volume. What is meant by osmolality is actually the solute concentration. Is actually the solute concentration in a solution. It's a solute concentration in a solution, is a osmolality. So that is also maintained by the sodium potassium pump. So we can say sodium potassium pump maintains cell volume and osmolality. How it maintains? Let's see in a diagram how it maintains cell volume and osmolality. Say for instance, if again we will take a plasma membrane. Say this is a plasma membrane, here I am making roughly. This is plasma membrane. It's its outer extracellular matrix, this is intracellular matrix. Or you can call it an intercellular space, and this is a cytoplasm. Now we have the pump here located. If I am making again a pump, so we have here a sodium potassium pump. So this is a sodium potassium pump here. And we have one more thing located here, most important. That is this is the active transport, because sodium potassium pump is performing the active transport, extending the things against the concentration gradient from lower concentration to higher concentration. Then after we have a presence of here one more protein, here is protein, but we have to keep in mind it is showing a secondary active transport. If I am making this one, this piece here, this is showing a secondary active transport. So this is a plasma membrane with a sodium potassium pump and one more protein, which is also helping in transport, but performing a secondary active transport, which we have discussed in our previous lecture. Say for instance, this sodium potassium pump, say this is here a sodium potassium pump. This sodium potassium pump, it leads influx of 2 potassium ions, know about it, coupled with an efflux of 3 sodium ions. Now this is creating more positive charge onto the outer environment of the cell, because more sodium is there, so more positive charge, and it is carrying a negative charge here, which we call as a polarization, or you can call it a resting potential. Then after, this sodium concentration when increased onto the external environment, what happens? This sodium moves in along the concentration gradient, because sodium is very high here, so sodium moves along the concentration, where it may take the glucose or it may take the amino acids. This transport you can call as a gullet, which you have studied as gullet. You can call it, if it is a glucose transporter, then you can call it sodium dependent glucose transporter as gullet, which we have discussed in our previous lecture. Now the most important thing is, that is, the sodium concentration onto the extracellular matrix is very high. Now this sodium comes along the concentration gradient. If you take this sodium, it comes along the concentration gradient. It's along the concentration gradient. That means from higher concentration to lower concentration. That is from higher to lower concentration. But if you take a glucose, it comes from lower concentration to higher concentration. You have kept in mind, as well as the amino acids. Because most of the glucose is transported by the carrier-mediated transporter, which is a facilitated diffusion. But you have to keep in mind, the glucose is taken in from lower concentration to it moves against the concentration gradient. That means from lower concentration to higher concentration. How it moves? The sodium, when it comes from higher concentration to lower, it releases energy. That energy is used by this transporter to take in the glucose from lower concentration to higher concentration, which we have discussed. Now, the most important thing is cell volume and osmolality. How it helps? Let's have the view. When the sodiums are taken in, the more sodium will come in from higher concentration to lower. With it, we can say the organic substances, when enter into the cell, they always take inorganic ions with it. They also move in it. That means inorganic ions with the organic substance, they all move. These both are the solute particles. They move inside the cytoplasm. When they are moving into the cytoplasm, the concentration of the ions or the concentration of the solute increases here. When the concentration of solute increases, what will happen? Outer environment may become hypotonic. Inner environment may become hypertonic. And if this environment becomes hypotonic and this becomes hypertonic, the water will move from higher concentration to lower concentration. More water will come inside the cell. When it comes inside the cell, it will lead to the increase in the volume of cell and lead to the bursting of the cell. To prevent this bursting, what happens? When the sodium more reaches here, the sodium is taken back out. The sodium is taken out by the sodium-potassium pump into the extracellular matrix. So we can simply say this sodium-potassium pump, it maintains high concentration of sodium in an extracellular matrix, so as to maintain the osmolality of the cell. You have to keep in mind this very important point. So we can simply say, whenever we have to define, we can say inorganic ions enter always led to the entry of organic substances. Lead to the entry of organic substances, which creates hypotonic condition in extracellular matrix. And hypertonic condition in intracellular matrix. Which may lead to the movement of water from higher concentration to, which may lead to the movement of water from extracellular matrix to intracellular matrix, leading bursting of cell. So we can simply say, whenever you have to say about it, the sodium ions will move from higher concentration to lower concentration within the cell, taking with the organic substances. Now the solute concentration in the cell may increase. It may create hypertonic condition within the cell, and external environment may become hypertonic. If this condition will happen, what will happen? The water will move from higher concentration to lower. It will move from extracellular matrix to intracellular matrix. The cell volume increase, because the concentration osmolality is not maintained, what happens? The cell volume increase, the cell bursts. But what happens? The sodium potassium pump, it takes this sodium out from the cell. That means it takes it actually out, not passively, but actually, because sodium concentration here inside the cell is very less. So sodium is actually pushed out to the extracellular matrix. So as to maintain the high concentration of sodium in the extracellular matrix. So sodium potassium pump is maintaining the cell volume and the osmolality of the cell. So we can simply say one more thing, that is sodium potassium pump. Sodium potassium pump maintains high concentration of sodium in extracellular matrix. Because it's continuously active. If anybody asks you which of the pump is continuously active, it's sodium potassium pump. It's all times active. It uses about 1/5 of the, so in case of animal, a normal animal cell may use 1/5 of the total energy of the cell. Total energy of the cell for activation of sodium potassium pump. Sodium potassium. So we can simply see if we have 100% of energy, its fifth part of the cell, if you have 100% of energy in the cell, the 105th part of the energy is used by the cell for the activation of only sodium potassium pump. You have to keep in mind. It's active pump, it's continuously active. So it maintains the high concentration of sodium in extracellular matrix so as to maintain cell volume and osmolality. Otherwise, what will happen? The sodium may come in, the concentration of sodium as well as the glucose may increase inside the cell, the solute concentration may increase here, it may become hypertonic, outside it may become hypotonic. The water will move from higher concentration to lower, cell volume increase, it bursts. But what happens? The sodium potassium pump pushes the sodium out into the extracellular matrix actively, because here it is very less, actually it is very high, so it moves against the concentration gauge. So actively it's taken out and the sodium concentration in an extracellular matrix is increased. Now tomorrow we discuss about the regulation of sodium potassium